What pushed haters to cross the line? Why are Jimin and his beloved family suddenly at the center of cruel attacks? Are there hidden forces behind this wave of hate? Before diving into this heartbreaking story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you won't miss the latest updates on BTS and the truth behind the shadows surrounding your idols. BTS is back. Feel the attack. The news hit like a storm, shattering the protective shield fans always hoped could surround their idol. Jimin, the angel-voiced member of BTS known for his kindness and warm-hearted nature, found himself facing not only hate directed toward him, but something far more vicious: his family being dragged into the fire of malicious comments, vile rumors, and even threats of violence. The question that immediately spread through the fandom was simple but chilling: why now? And why Jimin? The story began to unfold when an anonymous post surfaced on gall.dcinside.com, one of South Korea's infamous online forums where rumors often morph into wildfire. The post didn't just target Jimin as an artist, it cruelly twisted the narrative around his family, specifically his father's cafe, business in Bizen, known first as Magnate and now rebranded under the youthful, ambitious name Z Millennial. The accusation? That the cafe was not built by honest hard work, but rather funded by donations, implying shady money and handouts. Even more brutal was the claim that Jimin himself had no contribution whatsoever to his father's success, as if his years of sacrifice, fame, and global stardom meant nothing at all. But the cruelty didn't stop at business rumors. The post escalated into a series of hate-filled statements, so dark that armies across the globe struggled to breathe as they read them. Jimin's mother was insulted with degrading, unprintable words. Hateful users even typed messages encouraging Jimin to harm himself. Others went further, wishing his father would face a fatal accident. And most horrifying of all, there were veiled threats directed at his mother, hoping she would suffer physical violence. For a fandom that has watched Jimin since his teenage trainee days, when he cried, laughed, and fought to prove himself, these kinds of attacks felt personal. The very people who nurtured him, the family that sacrificed everything so he could chase his dream and soul, were suddenly placed in the crosshairs of anonymous hate. And so, ARMY asked, with tears and rage in their voices, what drives a stranger to this level of cruelty? In the wake of this chaos, thousands of ARMY began mobilizing, like a protective army, not just as fans but as defenders of justice. They flooded Bigot's official channels with demands for immediate investigation. Screenshots of the hate comments, the threats, and the forum posts circulated rapidly. Fans urged each other to report, to email, and to refuse silence. For them, it wasn't just about Jimin anymore, it was about a universal principle. If hate can go unchecked, who will be safe tomorrow? But even in the midst of their outrage, another question quietly echoed. Why did the attackers choose this moment? Was it a coincidence that Jimin, who has been active in solo promotions and global projects, suddenly became the target of a new wave of online harassment? Was it jealousy, a hidden agenda, or perhaps a coordinated smear campaign? The situation has triggered chilling flashbacks for ARMY. They remember the sleepless nights when BTS faced threats on stage, the cruel mocking during their rookie years, and the endless battles with malicious online communities that seemed determined to tear them down. Jimin, in particular, has often been the focus of such vitriol. His immense popularity, angelic persona, and sensitive heart making him both loved and tragically envied. Whispers in online spaces suggest that dragging his family into the spotlight is a deliberate tactic. By targeting the ones he loves most, haters aim not just to wound Jimin, but to break him from within. This raises another terrifying question. Is the real goal here to push Jimin into despair? Yet, in the middle of the storm, something remarkable is happening. ARMY isn't just sitting back and watching. Across social media platforms, fans are crafting messages of love and strength. They trend hashtags demanding protection for Jimin's family. They share stories of how his music saved them, and they counter the lies with testimonies about the real character of Park. Jimin, a man who has never been anything but generous, hardworking, and humble. The attacks have also reignited the conversation about the responsibility of agencies. Bigot, now operating under HYBE, has long claimed to take strong action against defamation and threats. But ARMY is louder than ever, urging them not to delay, not to wait for the storm to pass. Protect Jimin, protect his family. Enough is enough, reads one widely shared fan statement. The fandom remembers the lawsuits filed in the past against malicious commenters, Will Hybe act with the same urgency now? Or will they remain silent while Jimin's family is left exposed? Behind the headlines, there is a more human story, one that cannot be ignored. Imagine Jimin himself reading these words. This is a man who once confessed his insecurities during live streams, who admitted he struggled with self-doubt despite being adored by millions. To see his own family attacked in such vile ways could cut deeper than any insult ever directed at him personally. Will he bottle up his pain as he has done before, hiding his tears behind his iconic smile? Or will he finally speak out, breaking the silence that has long been his shield? There is a haunting irony here. For years, Jimin has given fans his voice, his laughter, his comfort. He has stood on stage singing songs of love, resilience, and hope. Yet when he needs protection, the world watches as strangers type words sharp enough to wound. The cruelty of the online space, where anonymity empowers hate, stands in stark contrast to the softness of Jimin's heart. Some ARMY wonder, is there something more sinister lurking beneath these posts? Could this be an orchestrated attempt to destabilize Jimin during an important chapter in his career? Rumors swirl endlessly in the K-pop industry, and the timing raises eyebrows. If so, the hate is not only personal, it's strategic. What no one can deny is the impact this has already had. Even those who never considered themselves hardcore fans found themselves enraged at the sheer audacity of attacking someone's parents. For many, the cafe in Bizen wasn't just a business. It was a symbol of Jimin's roots, his beginnings, a place where fans could connect with the history of the boy who became a global superstar. To drag it into scandal felt like desecrating a sacred space. And so the story continues, with questions that remain unanswered. Will the culprits be held accountable? Will Bigot deliver swift justice? Will Jimin ever reveal how deeply this has affected him? Or will the silence only grow heavier as rumors and hate continue to swirl unchecked? For now, one truth is certain. ARMY refuses to let this pass. The love for Jimin is not a fleeting trend, but a bond forged in years of music, struggle, and healing. They will stand by him, shielding not only the star but the son, the brother, the human being who deserves to feel safe in his own family's embrace. This is not just about a rumor on a forum. This is about a battle between hate and love, cruelty and compassion, lies and truth. And as always, ARMY has already chosen their side. But the world waits, eyes on Bigot, eyes on the faceless haters hiding behind screens, and eyes on Jimin, the boy from Bizen who grew up to move millions. What will happen next could define not just his journey, but the way we understand the cost of fame in a digital age. Because if even Jimin, sweet, selfless, hardworking Jimin, can become the target of threats against his own family, the chilling question lingers in the air. Who will be safe next? However, the deeper ARMY dug, the more suspicious details began to surface. Several of the accounts spreading hate toward Jimin and his family turned out to be newly created, only a few days old. They seemed to exist solely to post malicious comments, then vanish as if the entire attack had been carefully planned. Was this truly the work of random jealous individuals? Or was there a group behind it, an organized effort to bring Jimin down? The fact that the attack specifically targeted the family CAF also raised another unsettling question. Why that cafe, a place that had always stood as a warm symbol of a father's love for his son, suddenly become the center of such vile rumors? Was it because the cafe often welcomed ARMY from all over the world, making its presence a visible reminder of Jimin's global influence? Or was there a darker reason, someone intentionally trying to destroy the very foundation of his family's pride? In Bizen, many fans who had visited Magnate shared their experiences, the warm greetings from the staff, the pride of seeing walls filled with memories, and the aroma of coffee that seemed to tell the story of a local boy who rose to worldwide fame. Everything about it felt real, sincere, and far from the cheap gossip spreading online. That is why ARMY rejected the accusations that the business was funded dishonestly. They knew it was the fruit of a father's love, something genuine and rooted in years of sacrifice, not just a commercial project. But hatred on the internet knows no boundaries of logic. Cruel words kept surfacing, each one designed to cut into Jimin's heart. One particular comment even read, "If he really cared, why isn't he protecting his family?" Those words struck directly at what could be Jimin's most fragile spot, the hidden guilt he might quietly carry. Did Jimin see that comment? Did his heart tremble, feeling like he had failed to protect the very people who once protected him? Meanwhile, ARMY refused to remain silent. They began gathering evidence, creating long Twitter threads, and tagging bigots' official accounts in hopes of pushing for legal action. Some even sent messages of solidarity directly to Jimin's family, writing prayers and words of comfort, so they could stay strong in the face of the storm. Yet behind all the support, an unspoken fear lingered. How much longer can Jimin carry this burden alone?